Entrepreneurship is one of those things that you either train your entire life for, or it just reveals itself and you just figure it out day by day, step by step. And I think in both, if you're on either path, at some point, you're still just figuring it out. And being that I work in the real estate industry, particularly as a real estate transaction coordinator, it has made me a better entrepreneur. But below that, below the surface of just being an entrepreneur or a transaction coordinator or self-employed, right, is the person I've become as a result of the choices that I've made in my life. Now, whether you want to be self-employed, work in the real estate industry, pivot your careers, it all requires you to show up where you're at today. And I don't just mean clocking in and out of your 9 to 5 or submitting job applications. Yes, that's a small, minuscule aspect of this whole journey. But what I've learned in the 7 years of being self-employed was you have to be a good person. And to be a good person, you have to know what your morals, your values are, your mission, your why. And clarity has truly helped me to navigate, even in the times of murkiness and chaos and the unknowns, because I knew who I was at my core. And it hasn't been perfect. There have been moments where I was just making decisions for the sake of survival. I just need the money. I got to get these bills paid. I'm falling behind. Or even in the times when I'm way up and I just got too comfortable. And I realized, oh, I'm not happy because I strayed too far away from my morals, my mission, my goals. Or I'm down right now because I lost sight of my love for this mission. That why that once was no longer applies. So finding who I am in this journey has been probably the greatest accomplishment of it all. But truly becoming an entrepreneur, you have to know who you are at your core. And that starts with getting clear, having a clear why, having a clear understanding of your morals, your values more than anything. I spent an entire weekend one time in my life looking up different values. We have our idea in our memory, what we've been told to believe, what we've been told to value, but what do you value specifically as a person? So when it comes to making decisions, we always want to make the right decision. But where I come from and what I've learned is that there's no such thing as the right decision. It's just a decision. And if you funnel that decision through, again, I'm going to keep saying this, your morals, your values, your mission, your goals, and it aligns with that, then I feel like that decision is always going to be in your favor. And when you stray too far away from that, that's when the chaos starts to erupt. And that's okay, because sometimes we have to leave room for mistakes. We have to leave room for the learning. We have to leave room for God, truly. And what I've learned as an entrepreneur is my foundation is key. And that comes from having a clear why, having that clarity. But also through that process of clarity is staying organized. You have to be organized when you're in business, whether you're organized with your money, with your thoughts, with the way you outsource, ask for help. All of that will help you be better and to maintain longevity. I'm not going to hold you or lie and sit here and act like these last 7 years was a cakewalk. No, I probably had more times where I thought I was going to give up than I did, than I thought I was going to actually survive this whole journey. So when I say I made it 7 years being self-employed, whether it was from surviving off of savings, surviving off of just my faith, surviving off of, I had to take a deep breath because I'm thinking about just everything. whether it was with, overdrafting, overspending, underspending, good decisions, bad decisions, I persisted. Having that clarity, being organized, even when things just fell apart, kept me going and made me a better entrepreneur, because I always knew at my core, I can still do this. I can still do this. I have the pieces. I'm just going through a moment right now. I'm spiraling. I'm struggling. I'm anxious. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm grieving. But am I going to let that stop me? I'm going to feel my feelings. I'm going to go through the motions of what I'm experiencing, whether it's a loss of a client, a loss of a family member, whatever the case may be. I still know that I'm here with this opportunity, and I have to seize it. But becoming an entrepreneur, just having clarity, creating clarity for yourself is key. Being organized is key, but also through that organization is communication. Like I said, maybe you're great at outsourcing. Communication is being able to ask for help. Communication is being able to handle rejection. Communication is being able to send emails and following up. And it was in those moments of the follow-up, the check-ins, the how are you doing after not talking to one of your clients for a year, or sending an email newsletter on a weekly basis, just being in people's, being top of mind. I had to learn that communication is almost like the glue that keeps all of this together. And without it, it really does just crumble, or you fall off, or people assume things about you and you're not able to dictate and tell your own story, defend yourself, or honor your legacy. So communication is key. And I've learned that not just in my business, but in my personal life as well. When I'm not being a good communicator, there's tension. Sometimes when I over communicate, I realize that some people aren't used to that. And I've now crossed the threshold of improving my communication skills, but sometimes it isn't reciprocated. So that goes back to being able to handle the rejection part, or the awkward silence of it all. You know what I mean? And sometimes we'll abandon an idea or a following through because of said awkward encounters or whatnot. But learning how to communicate and navigate that has really helped me as an entrepreneur, as well as in my personal life, because in those seasons where I'm trying to relay a message and it's just not registering, it's up to me. Am I going to stick with it, relay it in a different way, or am I going to just walk away and chalk it up as experience? It's up to me. And there have been instances in my business where I wasn't communicating and I lost clients. There have been instances in my personal life where and sometimes, not to give out, too much of my business, but sometimes you can do all the right things. You could be the greatest employee, the greatest business person, the best friend, the best daughter or sister, whatever it may be. And even that can still backfire on you. But it isn't to say that that diminishes your value, or that takes away from your qualifications or who you are as a person at your core. Because again, because your values, your morals, sometimes things just get lost in translation, or it just comes to an end. And that season and that moment for that business relationship, that personal relationship, that subscription, whatever the case may be, is just done. So you have to learn how to pivot and navigate those seasons. And is it going to tear you down, or is it going to just be the fuel to help you keep going? Like I said, pause, feel your feelings, but also just know that giving up shouldn't be the first option, shouldn't be your default setting. Although that thing or relationship may have ended, like I said, it then just gets chalked up as experience, as data, as information. Where can I improve? Or was I just allowing and enabling too many things that went against my morals and values that now led us down this path? It's a two-way street. we have to learn how to take accountability, which is one of my next things, is just learning how to take accountability. We got clarity, organization, communication, being able to pivot, and just knowing how to take accountability for your actions, whether it turned out great or not. And knowing that this occurred, this happened, how can I improve? How can I learn and grow from this experience? Not being too egotistical, to always needing, to always need to be right, not being too timid and letting people take advantage of me. That took work. That took practice. That took effort. That took making mistakes. That took standing up for myself and advocating for myself in moments where I was scared, where I was intimidated, where I felt like everyone's smarter than me, everyone's richer than me, everyone has more experience than me. And realize, no, we're all equal. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much experience you have. We can all learn and be a student of each other. And that's something that I had to teach myself as well, is the humility aspect of it all. And that does relate to accountability. And through humility, it's a bit of a surrendering of who you are at your core, to keep an open mind, to be open and receptive to other opinions, other thoughts, whether it's right or wrong to you. But then also through that accountability and that humility, keeping in mind that this is still a team effort. When you work in real estate, you're not just an individual chasing a check. You're not just an individual buying or selling your home. There is a team of people working on everyone's behalf to get to that finish line. Whether we get to that finish line or not, we're still in this together. So you have to have humility when you're working in an industry such as real estate, or being an entrepreneur, to the point where you're not ever going to be working alone. And we may be self-employed. I may be a team one of one. Maybe I'll outsource help here and there, but I need to know how to navigate different personalities. And when I do encounter personalities that I've never encountered before, reflecting on that experience and how I want to navigate it in the future. Not every moment's going to be perfect, but collecting these experiences throughout the years has helped me, once again, to be a better entrepreneur as well as a better person, because I do apply some of these principles and practices into my real life. Whether I realize it or not, or the other person I'm talking to realizes it or not, or my family realizes it or not. It's also going back to that constant state of communication. It's like, okay, well, how did we get here? Let's take a step back. Let's pause. How did we get here? And reflecting back on, okay, we overspent this month. We're over budget. How can we change this in the upcoming week, in the upcoming 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, instead of just continuing at this pace of destruction? Okay, great. We had a good month. We had a high month. I got a raise. I got a bonus. I added a new client to my roster, or whatever the case, whether it's in my personal life or my business life. Am I just going to go blow my raise on a new Porsche? Maybe. But if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm thinking longevity. I'm thinking, okay, how can I reinvest this money back into the business? What debts do I need to pay off, if any? How much am I going to invest in my savings and in my future and in my emergency fund? Do I even have an emergency fund? Can I start one now? There are a lot of variables, and it can lead to decision fatigue, but ultimately it goes back to that accountability. If you're serious about this lifestyle, you have to embody it. And it's not just a style, it is your life. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows all day. You're going to go through turmoil. You're going to fall. You're going to endure and be in battle constantly. But when you do win, it's so worth it. It's so worth it when you are passionate and in love with you and your passions and what you feel is going to fulfill a purpose within your soul and within your intuition that's going to help others as well. that conviction can take you on for years. I'm grateful to have made it 7 years, going on 8 years now, because those first 5 years was just like me walking around with my eyes partially covered and my ears covered, because I either didn't have access to the information, or maybe I was just lost in my own sauce. But regardless of whatever situation, I always kept in mind that I have to keep going. I have to keep going. And being a transaction coordinator has taught me that you got to show up. You can't just abandon yourself along the way and abandon a file along the way, because you're going to be missing out on important documents. You're going to be missing out on important deadlines that can impact and affect not just people's transactions, but their money, their livelihood, their hard-earned income that they've saved and invested or inherited. And you playing your part and your role in this whole dynamic is so essential to it being completed. And us, yes, getting paid, yes, we want that, but beyond that, you have to have a deeper connection to the work. And that leads me to my final just way. Being a transaction coordinator and creating my own business for myself has shown me that without this, I can't do anything in life, and that's gratitude. Having an attitude of gratitude. When my gratitude is on a 10, everything it just feels better. Even in times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have a closing this month, or I just don't like transaction coordination, or maybe I should go apply for a job. I remind myself, like, what am I grateful for? The smallest things, this shirt, my ring light, a charged phone, a working phone. And that really does do something to me psychologically and emotionally, that I feel like my attitude of gratitude has carried me these last few years, and if not my entire life, but truly in these last couple of years, is just shifting my mindset from complaining, from blaming other people and not taking accountability, from not speaking up and advocating for myself, not respecting the work, not treating others fairly. It's just going back to gratitude. And it really is that simple. And that can be enough, because you'll look back and realize, dang, I did so much and I didn't even appreciate it. I took it for granted. And this is an opportunity for you now to change that. Change your mind, change the trajectory of your life. And whether you're pursuing entrepreneurship, real estate, TCing, coaching, or food, music, entertainment, sports, it doesn't matter what field or career you decide to embark in. It's having these mindsets and the awareness of what it requires in order for you to show up for you, because at the end of the day, you are your own business. And it even says in the Bible to mind your business and just get to work so people can respect you. Once I realized that, I was like, you know what? I have not been respecting my work. I have not been respecting the steps that I need to take along the way. I've been taking it for granted. I've been arrogant in my ways. I've been ungrateful in my ways. And once I made those shifts and those pivots and those changes and became more self-aware and started loving and liking myself more and appreciating every email that hits my inbox, every response I get to make, every dollar I get to make. Even when I lose, I'm like, okay, well, step it up, or let's just be still. Maybe I missed something along the way that I need to just reflect on. So entrepreneurship at this stage is just, I'm grateful for it. It's a day-by-day process, but I thought it was important to have this conversation and to really just open up this dialogue to anyone else out there, either interested in entrepreneurship, who's at my stage of entrepreneurship. I'm sure you can relate to many of these things, but regardless of where you're at in your career, just start with gratitude and take it from there. And I feel like everything else will unlock and reveal itself that is meant for you in your journey, because everyone's journey is different. And this is mine. And I'm grateful for this space to share it with you all. And if you made it this far in the video, I truly, 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 again, gratitude. I am appreciative of your time, because it's not easy to sit down and watch someone that you kind of know or never met and just trust that their word is going to bring value to your life. And that's always my hope and my intentions, is just to bring value into your life and just shed light into any areas that have maybe in darkness. So if you want to connect, just reach out to me, transactioncare.com, hit the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you that does comment and respond and have been subscribed and reached out, join the newsletter, join the TC membership community, and so much more. We are learning and growing together, and that's the best part of this all. So thank you again for watching. And until the next video, care for yourself, care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Talk soon. And that video is some more information for you to learn about real estate, business, and mindset. And if you aren't subscribed, just double tap my smiley face so you can join the TC community. Thank you.